Paul Linvesti.
I'm looking forward to the presentation tonight by a community member about short historical lessons that can be presented in classrooms. I was not that impressed with PragerU's presentation this past January. They seemed to use a bait and switch technique because in the actual agenda, it listed that it was just a book fair and a box type of extracurriculum that students could read at their own leisure. But the presenters didn't even bring book fair and a box up until a trustee asked them about the actual thing, and that was basically just a pilot program at this point. That kind of deception I felt that PragerU was using should make that program a major no. Thank you.
Sandra Fry.
I'm speaking tonight in wholehearted support of the enlightened proposal to introduce the 250 to 250 history video series to our Kern County classrooms. Earlier this year, the board expressed enthusiasm encouraging teachers to open their classes with a short daily historical moment, and this 250 to 250 video series by Heather Cox Richardson is an excellent solution to that idea. For those unfamiliar with Heather Cox Richardson, she's a highly respected professor of history currently at Boston College. She's well known for her daily letters and books on American history and is widely recognized for her ability to make history accessible to a broad audience. Bicentennial Minutes was a series of short one-minute educational TV segments that aired on CBS from July of 74 to December 76. We talked about that last month, and that was to commemorate the 200th anniversary of the American Revolution. To honor the 250th anniversary, Cox Richardson has launched a series of one-minute videos that highlights pivotal moments that have shaped our American history. Each video falls into a category that defines what it means to be an American, including community, innovation, civil rights, education, conservation, and creativity. And lately, some of my favorite videos, because I watch them daily, are emphasizing creativity, specifically how music has helped shape us, from the origins of the banjo, which had a profound effect on jazz and Appalachian culture, to 1814, when Francis Scott Key penned partial lyrics for this Star-Spangled Banner, to 1969 Woodstock, when Jimi Hendrix introduced his now famous electric guitar rendition of that same song, to Muscle Shoals, Alabama, where hundreds of records beginning in the 1960s were produced by many different artists, including Lynyrd Skynyrd, Aretha Franklin, Rod Stewart, Bob Seger, Paul Simon, and the Rolling Stones, just to name a few. A lot of that I didn't know till I listened to those videos. So, and just as the Bicentennial Minutes impacted an earlier generation, my generation, with its one-minute historical tidbits, the 250 to 250 series offers our Kern County students bite-sized, digestible history and the opportunity for our students to engage in civics. This beautifully patriotic project is a marvelous resource for our Kern teachers to celebrate in our classrooms what we love about America, and helps us stay proud about what our country really stands for and what makes us great. These videos include powerful reminders of the ideals we strive for and lessons on how both famous and ordinary Americans have accomplished change. I ask the board to formally approve We Are America 250 to 250 series as an optional supplemental resource for current teachers to use in their classrooms. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Mona Two Cats Romero. I am a native and lifelong resident of Kern County. I was born at what was then Westside Hospital in Taft after my parents came here from Oklahoma in the 1940s. My birth certificate says behind the water station. That was the address. I started kindergarten at Elk Hills School. I got my AA at Bakersfield College and my BA at CSUB. I worked here in Kern County for over 20 years in anti-poverty programs and social justice advocacy. I have 3 children who attended Maple School in Rio Bravo, Greeley. My children graduated from Shafter High and Liberty. I have 9 grandchildren and 5 great-grandchildren who have all spent all or part of their educational career here in Kern County Public Schools. I am a dedicated every election voter. I'm always excited to find out if there's another election I can vote in.
Thank you for voting.
I'm here today to support Ellen Schafhauser's presentation and proposal, and I hope that the board will authorize and incorporate the 250 to 250 materials as supplemental and optional for the Kern County Schools curriculums. And I would also like to request, if the board is unwilling to adopt these materials, that you please provide a written report on why you don't want to, what your reasons are. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Janine Adams Tehachapi. I've been in Kern County since 1994. We moved here when my son was, 90 days old. And so both of my kids are graduates from, elementary, junior high, high school. Not in Tehachapi, but here in Greater Bakersfield, Stockdale. Go Mustangs. And I think that this program that Ellen's going to present to you is just going to be so important. I've seen the initial drafts. And my son, who now is a 4th grade teacher, McKinley, okay, just around the corner, basically. He's a 4th grade teacher, and currently he does like 10 minutes of CNN every morning. What a nice thing to be able to do because of the technology that is in our classrooms. And it would be easily, translated into this program that's only a minute, I guess, is what she said. So, again, I just think that this is so important. I graduated high school in Palm Springs, of all places, in 1976, the 200-year, And here I am 50 years later, and it's 250 that the country is. Can you imagine my high school just like I'm sure is going on around here now, right? So proud that I was part of those years and that I'm still here, okay? So thank you so much for what you do. This is a very difficult board to sit on, and it means so much to the children, to the community. I mean, you guys run everything, as we just had the first presentation, what kind of impact that makes on our community, on children that are, having trouble, okay? But these children are not children with a problem. They are children that just need advocacy, and a lot of them will get through it, okay? My dad had the same thing. He joined the Marines at age 17. He did not finish high school, and he was first boots on the ground in what do we call it? The North Korean conflict. It wasn't actually a war. It was a conflict. It didn't matter to him. He was boots on the ground there, okay? So I am the proud daughter of a Marine. He always said education is the most important thing, and that's what I've taught my children. So thank you so much for what you do.
Thank you.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Lori Brashler. I'm here today to urge you to consider approving the use of history lessons developed by historian Heather Cox Richardson in our classroom. Her work is widely respected for its accuracy, clarity, and ability to connect past events to the present in a way that engages students and encourages critical thinking. In a time when our young people are navigating a flood of information, it's essential that we provide them with resources grounded in factual research and historical context. Dr. Richardson's lessons are not only academically rigorous, but also accessible, helping students see the relevance of history to their own lives and community. By incorporating these materials, we can strengthen civic literacy, foster respectful dialogue, and prepare our students to be informed, thoughtful citizens. I respectfully ask that you approve their use as part of our history for the supplemental curriculum. Thank you for your time and commitment to our students' education.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Anastasia Hopper, and I am a community member with 2 children out in Oildale, and I am deeply caring about the quality of education that our children receive. I'm here tonight to speak in support of the proposal to adopt Dr. Heather Cox Richardson's 250 to 250 We Are America video series as approved supplemental instructional material. Dr. Richardson is a professor of history at Boston College and one of the most widely read historians in America today. What makes the series exceptional and exceptionally appropriate for our students is its focus. The videos emphasize the agency of Americans, mostly everyday Americans, to change the country, covering categories that define what it means to be an American, including community and democracy. These are not passive history lessons. They are stories of how people overcame adversity, which is the heart of America. The message speaks directly to our alternative education programs at Blanton and the Community Learning Center. It speaks to the Hispanic families in Bakersfield City School District, whose ancestors are part of that American history. It speaks to every student who has ever been told that their history does not matter, because it does. It embodies the RISE goal of helping our youth become responsible citizens who use the knowledge gained and skills learned to make informed decisions and choices. The videos are 1 minute. They are freely available on YouTube and Substack. There is no cost to the district, and they're academically credible. They're age appropriate, and they're deeply relevant to the moment our country is living through right now in its 250th year. I urge the board to approve this proposal and make these materials available to teachers across Kern County. This is a supplemental free resource. Our students deserve history education that tells the whole story of America, including the parts that show ordinary people, people who look like them, changing the world. I ask the board to formally approve We Are America 250 to 250 as optional supplemental resource for teachers to use in their classrooms. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
250 to 250. It's created by Heather Cox Richardson. We Are America. It's a growing series of 1-minute stories about the many people, places, and events that have built our country and remind us of the power of each person to make history. I'm proposing that this series be an educational solution to the board's suggestion for teachers to begin class each day with a 1-minute American history lesson in celebration of 250th birthday of our nation. Now, you may remember this photo from 1976, Bicentennial and CBS. Similar in intent to this broadcast 50 years ago, 250 to 250 is creating a historical library of videos that are easily accessible on YouTube. They're short, engaging narratives. Students will hear narrations from educators, engineers, artists, politicians, lawyers, astronauts, and U.S. citizens from all walks of life. And best of all, they're free. 250 to 250 emphasizes the agency of Americans, mostly everyday Americans, to change the country. Each fall into a category that defines what it means to be an American, including community, democracy, innovation, mobility, civil rights, education, conservation, and creativity. The following 6 demonstration videos connect between past and present by using modern voices whose work and values resonate with the historical figure or event being discussed. Professor Heather Cox Richardson narrates the first video.
On May 25, 1787, delegates gathered in Philadelphia to rewrite the Articles of Confederation, the blueprint that had united the colonies in 1777, but had proved too weak to hold the new nation together after the Revolutionary War ended. For 4 months, 55 delegates hammered out the framework for a new government. They created a system of checks and balances designed to enable the government to represent the people of the nation and yet protect against the rise of a tyrant. On September 17, 1787, the delegates signed the United States Constitution and sent it off to the states for ratification. On the last day of the convention, a woman asked Benjamin Franklin if the delegates had created a monarchy or a republic. A republic, he answered, if you can keep it.
These are the credentials of Professor Heather Cox Richardson, who is a scholar of American history. She's a tenured Boston College professor, written 6 books, has millions of global readers of her nightly Letters from an American, and interviews present-day historical figures and so much more. One of the key qualities of a great historian, such as Professor Richardson, is that they are talented in telling the story with the intent to convey accuracy rather than bias, using primary source accounts, sleuthing out bias and disinformation, and providing historical content. The second example is of John Adams' letter to Abigail, narrated by Dr. Sarah Giorgiorni, who is the editor for Papers of John Adams.
On July 3rd, 1776, John Adams, a Massachusetts delegate to the Second Continental Congress, wrote twice to his wife Abigail. He reported, "Yesterday the greatest question was decided. A resolution was passed that these united colonies are and of right ought to be free and independent states." Not until the next day, though, July 4th, 1776, did Congress approve the final wording of the Declaration of Independence. Adams knew he was participating in something Americans would long remember. The second day of July 1776, he predicted, will be celebrated by succeeding generations. It ought to be solemnized with pomp and parade. John Adams was right about everything except the date. We celebrate the 4th of July, not the 2nd, as our Independence Day.
A suggested timeline can be created in class of each video demonstrating the connectivity of American history events. Students create memes that can be inserted into the timeline. Memes are short format communication. They are a psychological mechanism for instant transfer of information. Educators can teach the art of responsible meme use. A meme can be highly influential in transferring information or disinformation through a network of people. It's analogous to a virus. Memes are self-replicating when shared in the network of social media. So teaching meme use requires being responsible that the information being transferred is valid and accurate. Otherwise, it spreads disinformation, which can be used as propaganda. Timeline insertion of a meme provides context and perspective, and students place their graphic or digital memes into a U.S. timeline alongside the anchor videos, as an example. History answers our origin story as a people of a place or a nation, and answering age-old questions of where we as a people came from and what our story tells us about who we are. The fourth video, one of the origin stories, is about Ellis Island, narrated by Ken Burns, documentarian movie maker.
In the late 19th century, immigrants coming to America from Europe usually traveled through New York, sailing past the Statue of Liberty before their ship dropped anchor. Then, third-class passengers boarded a ferry for the immigration entry station on Ellis Island, where from 1892 to 1954, more than 12 million people began the process of becoming Americans. Upon arrival, immigrants underwent medical and legal inspections. Some were processed quickly. Those with obvious illnesses went to the hospital or a dormitory, while those who could not demonstrate an ability to support themselves faced deportation. About 2% were ultimately turned away. Today, Ellis Island stands as a reminder of the hope and determination people brought with them when they arrived. As one Italian immigrant remembered, "We came with nothing, but we believed we could become something."
This video series emphasizes that we have different stories of how we arrived to be American, and that each one of us contributes to the greatness of our country. It also demonstrates how each one of us is a historical marker in the present. We are the future that those before us have created. We are the ones that the future will look to for answers of their origins in a nation built on a promise of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness based in equality. 250 to 250 video series span the gamut of American achievements and struggles that have made our country great. Our fourth video example is of the Hubble telescope, narrated by Mike Massimino, a former NASA astronaut.
In April 1990, NASA launched the Hubble Space Telescope into orbit, culminating a decades-long quest to capture images of distant galaxies outside the visual barrier of Earth's atmosphere. Named for the pioneering American astronomer Edwin Hubble, who helped define the nature of galaxies, the Hubble Space Telescope transformed our scientific understanding of Saturn's rings, Pluto's surface, black holes, and the very shape of the universe. Between 1993 and 2009, NASA astronauts undertook 5 risky space shuttle missions to Hubble to repair and upgrade the telescope. Physicist and astronaut John Grunsfeld, a veteran of 3 of these missions, declared, "Hubble isn't just a satellite. It's about humanity's quest for knowledge."
From getting to know the stars to getting to know your neighbors, the fifth video, Mr. Rogers, narrated by Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro.
For over 30 years, Fred Rogers from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, traded his suit jacket for his famous red cardigan to welcome children from all across the world into Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. Each week, he spoke directly to children about the importance of kindness, honesty, empathy, and looking for the helpers during scary moments. And he changed our country for the better. Generations of American kids grew up, myself included, feeling like we had a friend and a neighbor in Pennsylvania's own Mr. Rogers.
I end the program by saying, you've made this day a special day by just your being you. There's no person in the whole world like you, and I like you just the way you are.
As we celebrate America's 250th birthday and the remarkable leaders who shaped our country and our culture, here in Pennsylvania, we are proud to call Mr. Rogers one of our own.
In summary, 250 to 250 American History video series are short, engaging supplemental videos, trustworthy, researched, encourages creativity, critical thinking, a kickoff for the classroom activities and lessons. It's interactive and it's free. Hashtag WeAreAmerica250 is where students can upload videos of themselves or groups of people saying, "I am America." Just record your video and add the hashtag WeAreAmerica250. This is first in a series of uploaded videos that Americans have shared so far.
We are America.
We're America.
We are America.
I am 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 America.
We are America.
We are America.
We are America.
We, those of us who care about democracy, are America.
I want to thank you for this opportunity to present this. I appreciate it very much. And the very last thing is just to show you that there's a playlist. And there's so far 73 or 74 videos that have been put on. And there should be 250 sometime by the end of the year. So thank you.
Thank you.
Well done. Great presentation.
Very good.
Thank you for that presentation tonight, and it's exciting to live in America. I love that we can share our experiences with history and how it affects us today. So, and the 4th of July was just a great time to celebrate that.
Amen.
I did like the videos. Thank you, and you did a great job, Ellen. I'm glad that you recognize the importance of our heritage and our history. And I loved Mr. Rogers in there. That was he was absolutely a wonderful guy. If you learn the history and what he went through, he had a hard time in life. And as far as your request, Ellen, we can't really implement curriculum and mandate it in the classrooms because we don't oversee curriculum, and we can't do that. We can suggest it, and the teachers are free to use it. And a lot of the teachers are going to be able to see what you presented tonight, and they're going to be able to implement it in their classrooms as they see fit. So I wanted to explain that to you. We cannot teach or mandate it for teachers all across Kern County as well. So we have very limited authority to do anything in the classroom.
I'm just going to echo Mary's comments. First of all, I'm very appreciative of what you've brought to the table, and it's always nice to review what is out there, so thank you very much for that. And I did make note of the several public comments that asked essentially for a proposal of this material or an approval, and that's just outside of what our scope and what we do. And I know that when PragerU came and presented, that was also the same focus. It was just an opportunity to see what is out there, and there's nothing that we can do to say that that has to be in the classrooms. But I do absolutely appreciate it, and especially the time and the detail to the video and the presentation.
Again, Ms. Schafhauser, that was a marvelous presentation. We really did enjoy it. It's a reminder, too. We're seeing the people from all walks of life and the way that they made their livings and the way that they built their wealth here in America. I mean, they're blue collar, white collar, all sorts of things. And I think that that's important, particularly now, given the culture of what we're dealing with out in the world, what with all the technological changes that are coming along, and a lot of the normally casual or white collar jobs that people are accustomed to doing are going through the same thing that happened in the 1960s with IBM and UNIVAC came on board and pretty much put, thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people out on the street. So the emphasis on you can make it in America in any number of ways, I think is a very important emphasis that we should go on ahead, and I'm hoping that teachers will be encouraged themselves to go ahead and take a look at this, especially if they're running like CNN in 10. Not that when I was a teacher that I always agreed with everything CNN had to say, but it was generally always informative. It generally talked about the zeitgeist, the current state of affairs, and that is something that if people ignore, they're missing an opportunity to have a platform to build upon. So I think that makes any of these programs about American history critical to the education of the students that are out there. And they should be encouraged no matter what to go ahead and seek this out themselves. And online seems to be the way that they're doing it. And the fact that all this has been put into a program, a one stop, and people can go ahead and take a look at that, it's a very, very good thing. It's not necessarily extremely unique, but it is very accessible. And it sounded good, and you've got a lot of good people that are backing this up. So having said that, my July 4th, this is one of the most memorable July 4ths that I've had. I was immersed in music the entire time. It was one of the people, I think you mentioned something about music. You sitting there in the front row in the print blouse. Somebody was. Yeah, about the music, yeah. We came up when the music was good. I think, and I have been listening to it and playing it for years. And yes, that is a very, very important part of our culture, and that is something that should never be dismissed. And I'm happy to see that it's still out there, that it's still being played, it's still being appreciated by the younger generations. So kudos to you for bringing that up, especially me as a musician. I like the idea of that.
Ms. Schafhauser, I really enjoyed that presentation. I'm actually going to look up some of those videos on my own. I'm kind of a history buff myself.
Just to let you know, we'll share this information with the staff at the community and alt-ed schools so that they can have access to it as well.